Hi everyone, today we talk about Skechers stock, which I actually have a really troubled past with. And I'll tell the story that I have on Skechers stock and when I used to own it and what happened then. But I don't have a good history with Skechers, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But overall, Skechers just did their earnings report and the earnings report were pretty strong. We had guidance raised, and we've said on this channel like loads of times before, when a stock tends to say much about its future of that year, if it raises its guidance, that's when we see a big massive rise in the stock. If we see guidance cut, that's when we see the stock go down quite a bit. And Skechers came out and they're going to raise the guidance, which sent the stock up quite a bit. And the earnings report itself was pretty decent overall. So we're going to get stuck into that, and then I'll tell my story about when I used to own Skechers, and then I'm also going to say whether or not I think Skechers is a buy right now, or kind of I think it's a little bit overvalued going forward, but we'll get stuck into it. So the earnings report from Skechers that was released this week. Skechers surges 15% after a year of record sales and strong guidance. Skechers provided a first quarter 2019 earnings forecast well above Wall Street's expectations. The shoemaker also had record sales of $1.08 billion in the fourth quarter. So overall, the earnings report pretty much said that it raised guidance. We also saw that it had its biggest ever sales in one quarter, which was £1.8 billion worth of actual shoes just sold in that quarter overall. EPS was a beat, I think revenue was a beat overall, and the margins were pretty decent, and it also came out saying that it's going to try prioritise now actually growing that gross margin and about the amount of profit that it's going to make from each shoe, which investors kind of really all liked overall. One thing to say is that actually Skechers doesn't pay a dividend, but overall if we look at the stock's actually gone up now like 34% year to date or something, but that's mainly because since like all the other stocks got killed around Christmas time, especially like near Christmas Eve, it's been on a little bit of a surge overall, but it went all the way down to like $21 a share, and then I think it's up like near 31ish right now because of how much it's gone up. But it's actually up massive this year, but it's kind of like a little bit of a bit like a fake year to return really, because it was just down so much and then it shot up so much. It makes it look better than what it is. But yeah, overall a pretty good earnings report. And if we look forward into the company now, we look at the revenue side of it. The revenue side of it is pretty decent. It's about an 8% revenue that we're expecting growth of this year. The EPS side of it is actually a little bit higher. I think that's towards like the 20% side of it. The P is slightly kind of a little bit higher now, around the 28 side of it. So that says a little bit about where the stock is at overall. And when we look at the stock overall, the 52-week kind of where it's trading in like a mid-margin really. And this earnings report kind of filled the gap. It's kind of between the 52-week lows. It's kind of between the 52-week highs. Kind of just sitting right there in the middle overall. And the one thing that always worries me about this stock is that it just changes so quickly. And we look at the kind of the industry that's in, you got a lot of competitors in there. You got your Nike, Adidas, a very competitive market overall, and things change so fast overall. And that's what I learnt when I invested into Skechers. I originally invested around the 31 mark quite a while ago, and I thought this stock was in a good place to go up. And I didn't realise how much competition was out there, and the margins got killed in the stock, and they reported an earnings report and it was actually really poor. I was like, oh, this stock is actually going like nowhere in the next year. And I don't think it kind of did really. I think it dropped down massively overall, and I was like, I'm just getting out of here, because I didn't really realise at that time how competitive that kind of industry that Skechers is in and how quick it can change. That kind of sector that Skechers is in is one of the fastest changing sectors that can happen overall. And like at one time, one company is like completely leading that kind of sector, and like the trends and styles just totally change, and then another company kind of takes over for the next 12 months. So it's a little bit of a dangerous sector overall, that one overall. So personally, I won't own any shares into kind of that sector at all overall now. Like your Nike, Adidas, your Skechers, those are just like kind of three companies that I will not touch. But kind of take it from kind of an investment point of view, what do I think of Skechers? If I was to invest in Skechers, I wouldn't invest in Skechers, because even though I do like the EPS and revenue growth, taking aside that I don't like the industry to invest in that industry, but the P is slightly high. I would invest in a discount, and I believe where Skechers is at fair value. I don't believe it's overvalued at all, but it's not undervalued either, and I just don't think like it is going to explode anywhere from here, or I don't see it going down hugely at all either. So like I would not get into Skechers unless it was like below like the $20 per range or something, like back down to where it was at Christmas Eve time. But I never invested in Skechers at that time because you had other companies sold off, like your Apple, your Microsoft. So for me, Skechers overall is it's not a bad company and it does offer good revenue and good EPS growth. But for me, I don't like the industry it's in. I think it's slightly fair value now. Like you look at the P/E28. So yeah, I'd more likely like to look at other discounts that are out there, invest in other stocks. But that's just my opinion, guys. Anyway, as always, I hope this video helped you. Give the video a like, subscribe. Thanks for all the support recently. It's been amazing on this channel. And I'll see you in the next video.